Gentlemen, my kids would like to see some crazy inventions like Rube Goldberg draws in his cartoons. Do you know anyone crazy enough to build them? Yours truly, Bill Brandt. Well, them's pretty nasty words there. We didn't find anybody crazy, but we found the man who has cornered the market on goofy gadgets. He has the proud title of the Wacky Wizard of Waukesha. I think we ought to meet him right now. Professor Russell Oakes. Professor.
Alrighty, sir.
Earmuffs in California, sir?
This, Mr. Baker, is my chatter eliminator for screening out campaign speeches and long-winded introductions.
I can take a hint. I promise not to say another word if you'll show Bill Brandt how the thing works.
I'll be very happy to. This little invention is for use at the movies. You just get comfortably seated in a picture palace, thoroughly interested in a good picture. In comes some couple and takes the seats behind you. They laugh and they talk and until you can't hear a thing that's going on the screen. Then you wear my patented chatter eliminator. Fits right over the head like a radio headset. I want you to notice these soft sponge rubber pads that fit down closely over the ears. They're there to help keep out that static from behind. Yet these amplifiers face right toward the screen so that you can hear everything the actors are saying. And if the picture isn't any too good, all you have to do is reverse the position of the headset. Maybe you can pick up a nice, juicy bit of gossip from behind. I've also noticed that people who play golf have quite a bit of trouble because the golf balls have a habit of getting lost in the rough. So I've invented my self-finding, non-losable golf ball. When this ball gets lost in the rough, it sends up a red flag and blows a horn so you can find her. Then we go to a picnic luncheon. We find ourselves seated in the grass, a sandwich in one hand, a cup of coffee in the other. You start to drink your coffee. Flies begin to light on your sandwich. There's no place to lay either one of them down to do any shushing. Your first tendency is to take a swipe at them with your cup. But if you do that, you'll spill your coffee, perhaps get your sandwich all wet and soggy. That's when you use another invention of mine, a sort of an extra hand. You merely place the sandwich in this extra hand thus, then you can drink your coffee in perfect peace. I have another invention that I want to show you. My patented hydraulic cigarette lighter. I want to explain it for you quickly before I actually operate it. You pour water into receptacle A. It immediately flows down through this hose into a nozzle here, in which there's a series of apertures commonly known as holes. The water then flows on sponge B, forcing it to the floor of the device, operating a long lever, pulling a cord, lifting the gate to my pet rat's cage. She tries to escape. She falls on this paddle, upending another lever, and a projection on the end of that lever enters this compressed air chamber, releasing the air, also releasing weight K, which falls to the floor of the device, carrying with it a belt which is attached to flywheel L, and which causes that flywheel to revolve with great rapidity. On the surface of flywheel L, there's a disc of abrasive material which revolves against a special firing unit in the end of this white lever, causing it to ignite, and then all the operator has to do is flip up that white lever and light his cigarette. Now, as I get ready to pour the water into receptacle A, I'm going to ask you all to watch very, very closely. Because when things happen, if they do happen, they happen fast. I'd just like to have some of you folks who seem to be scoffing to please remember that the ordinary cigarette lighters don't light every time either. And so as I pour the water into receptacle A, about all I can do is hope. But I do want you to notice that just as I've predicted, the water does immediately begin flowing on the sponge.